If you are passionate about uncovering the ancient wisdom of our ancestors, if you wish to understand where humanity is headed in the future, or simply care about the world's most pressing political issues, then this is the video you cannot miss. Let's explore the Thoi Boi Do together, a famous prophetic book from ancient China. Tui Bei Tu. How will the Taiwan Strait issue ultimately be resolved? What earth-shattering events are currently unfolding or will take place in mainland China? Join us in today's video to explore these questions. To begin, let's explore the origins of the famous prophetic book, the Thoi Boi Do. Thoi Boi Do. It predicted the transformations of the world for more than 1,300 years after the Tang dynasty. The Thoi Boi Do is arranged according to the system of heavenly stems and earthly branches, comprising a total of 60 prophecies. Each prophecy consists of 4 parts: a hexagram from the I Ching, 4 lines of prophecy verse, 4 lines of eulogy verse, and an accompanying illustration, shang. During its circulation through various historical periods, the prophecies in the Tui Bei Tu have been assessed as having an accuracy rate of up to 95%. Later on, people gradually came to realize a truth: the future cannot be bound by predetermined predictions of fate. This awareness gradually became widespread and was shared by many. The answer to the future must surely be found within the Tui Bei Tu. Tui Bei Tu. Others could not help but feel fear when faced with their own uncertain future. Moreover, the Thoi Boi Do is also believed to have accurately predicted the collapse of numerous dynasties, which is precisely why it was classified as forbidden literature. Thoi Bei Tu. Therefore, it is only natural that it became widely circulated among the people. By the Mid-Song dynasty, that book had become so widespread that every household owned a copy, to the extent that people believed, if one had never read the Tui Bei Tu, they could not be considered a true scholar. The Thoi Boi Do typically does not record specific dates, but rather corresponds to major events. Therefore, future generations must rely on the 4 parts mentioned above to deduce them. However, the 43rd statue is quite special because it is the only one inscribed with a specific time. An illustration of an adult and a child standing side by side, waving together. The corresponding hexagram is the 50th in the I Ching, with Shuan, below and Li, above, forming the hexagram Deng, the cauldron, Huo Feng Deng. Rulers unfit to rule, subjects unfit to serve. Though initial peril is met, in the end they shall surely overcome and find stability. The land knew no proper king, no proper subject. Chaos reigned at its dawn, order at its dusk. The black rabbit enters the blue dragon's lair. Used endlessly yet never exhausted, it defies all description. Peripheral signs, at the root's end, 32 years, ending in wasteful extravagance. The black rabbit ran into the blue dragon's lair, trapped and unable to escape, left utterly speechless. Only on the outermost branches, for 32 long years, the many descendants have gathered together. The opening verse indicated the time when the prophecy would be fulfilled. The black rabbit refers to the year of the cat, Kai Mao, because according to the 5 elements theory, the color corresponding to the water element is black. Tan Long. In the 5 elements theory, green is the signature color of the wood element. The year of the cat, Kai Mao, is 2023, and the following year, the year of the dragon, Jop Then, is 2024. Of course, according to the lunar calendar, 5 cycles of the heavenly stems and earthly branches combine to form a 60-year cycle. Every 60 years, a year of water rabbit and a year of wood dragon occur simultaneously. So why was this statue chosen as the symbol for 2023-2024? The hexagram imagery, the oracular verses, and the incantations must be considered in their totality. A ruler not acting as a ruler, a subject not acting as a subject. The way of ruler and subject has always had its clear and distinct boundaries. The king occupies a high position, while his subjects occupy a low one. This situation cannot be reversed. The situation has now completely reversed. Subjects no longer behave as subjects, and rulers no longer act as rulers. That means the proper order between the ruler and his subjects had been overturned. Looking back at the painting, it depicts an adult holding a child's hand as they walk together. The small child lies on the right side, facing west. Adults stand on the left, to the east. Isn't this the geographical location of China and Taiwan on the world map? Mainland China and Taiwan have separate government systems, militaries, currencies, and judiciaries. Therefore, in reality, the relationship between the two countries was not one of sovereign and vassal. A king who does not act like a king, a subject who does not act like a subject. We see that although Taiwan is in fact considered an autonomous region of China, this perception still faces differences within the international community. But in reality, they went down a completely opposite path: capitalism. The head of state is the president. Our country is completely independent and is not subject to or dependent on anything from mainland China. For China, this is seen as an act of betrayal. A ruler unfit to rule, a subject unfit to serve. The adult raised their hand high above their head, looking as if they were about to hit the child. But the child did not dodge, he merely raised his hands to shield his own head. However, it still fought back instead of fleeing. This makes us even more concerned. The political climate was already extremely tense, and neither side was willing to make concessions to the other. And so a battle began, one that was impossible to avoid. Water over fire, the outcome is decided. In terms of wording, this statement alludes to the currently tense political situation. As analyzed above, Tui is indeed the symbol of 2023. At that time, the Jian Wei formation will surely appear. Stability through conflict. The child in this painting is shielding their head with their hand, taking resolute steps forward. This means you're following your own path. And keep your faith strong. As we can see, China is currently facing criticism from numerous world powers due to its territorial expansionist ambitions. Therefore, the image of the child, symbolizing Taiwan, fearlessly and resolutely fighting back is an action that has received international community support. Next, please join us in listening to the four chants. The first sentence. Black Rabbit walked into the heart of the cave. There are two layers of metaphorical meaning. Based on the above analysis, the prophecy is predicted to be fulfilled by the end of 2023 and during 2024. Another memorable detail is the image of a rabbit crawling into a dragon's den. The dragon is the very symbol of freedom and the spirit of independence. The rabbit is a symbol of fertility and proliferation. The black rabbit proves this is an ill omen for childbirth. The first view suggests that China aims to expand its influence over Taiwan and several other regions. Utterly profound, boundless, beyond all description. Bottomless greed, once it dares to enter the dragon. This once again demonstrates the correctness, as Taiwan receives backing from the United States along with support from many major powers worldwide. If a real war were to occur, China would have to endure extremely severe consequences. The final two lines of the poem are next. The only finding is peripheral signs on the electrocardiogram. The 32nd year concluded with humility. Outside the dragon's cave, there is a tree. For 32 uninterrupted years of growth and development, that tree's roots had accumulated immense power, and this very force would become pivotal in turning the tide. On this matter, I am particularly struck by the fact that we all know Taiwan currently supplies half of the world's semiconductor chips. Using the most advanced semiconductor materials, Taiwan accounts for 92% of the global output, according to statistics from the Boston Consulting Group, BCG. Semiconductor chips play an extremely important and indispensable role in the field of technology. Because it undertakes many important functions and makes significant contributions to the development of the electronics and communications industry. Therefore, if China attacks Taiwan, it itself will also suffer heavy losses. Get out of jail free card. Now, observe the hexagram corresponding to this symbol. It is the Ding hexagram, also known as fire over wind, Ding. Above is the Li hexagram, belonging to the fire element. Below is the Tun hexagram, belonging to the wind element. In ancient China, the bronze Ding was also a symbol of national power. Toppling the tripod, revolutions of establishment, synthesizing the statements of the Ding hexagram and its individual lines. The celestial mechanism revealed by Ding is none other than nurturing virtuous talent and effecting renewal. Though perilous the waters seem, calm shall prevail in the end. The period from the year of the rabbit to the year of the dragon, roughly from 2023 to 2024, is likely to be a phase full of difficulties and dangers for Taiwan. And a large-scale conflict could very well erupt, which seems almost inevitable. However, in the long run, that risk will eventually be resolved. The Dui-Suyen Bridge on the periphery of Cantu Thuong, after 82 years, has finally borne fruit. This signifies that on that tree out there, it will take another 30 years for the cicada to blossom and bear fruit. These two lines combine with the hexagram imagery, and this Ding hexagram speaks of the strength to overcome difficulties. This is the talented generation that has been cultivated and nurtured over the course of 32 years. This is precisely the key that allows Taiwan to demonstrate its strength. 82 years is actually 32 years. Moreover, this 32-year period is calculated from the milestone of achieving consensus in 1992. This is a preliminary agreement, affirming that both sides of the strait belong to one China. From 1992 to 2024 is a full 32 years. This indicates that 2024 promises to be a year of significant and important transformations. Whether born and raised in Taiwan or abroad, generations of Taiwanese people are the embodiment of their ancestral roots. Through their efforts, the situation will eventually stabilize. To better understand the event predicted for 2024, let's analyze the decoded message of the 54th statue, a prophecy foretelling an imminent disaster. The illustration for the statue of the year 94 depicts a shepherd boy holding a spear and chasing a buffalo. This imagery corresponds to the Guai resolution hexagram in the I Ching, which is the 43rd hexagram, structured with Qian, heaven, below, and Dui, lake, above. Gain, gain, loss, loss, like a scattered chess game, merely seeking fleeting peace, that smile turns into weeping. 4 verses were written, unable to distinguish cattle among the herd of oxen and goats. Casting aside the illusory cloak, the true nature is clearly revealed. Like the winding flow of the Yellow River, yet in the end the water remains clear, never turbid. Temporarily translated, discarding the forms of oxen, rats, and goats, shedding the coarse hair to reveal a mighty and powerful appearance. In this realm, a dragon is sure to emerge. The 9 bends of the Yellow River churn with golden waves. First, let us examine the main hexagram of this symbol, which is the Dui hexagram. This hexagram is formed by 5 solid lines, yang, represented by unbroken lines, at the bottom, and 1 broken line, yin, represented by a broken line, at the top. 5 solid lines plus 1 broken line. It corresponds to the image of 5 herdsmen chasing 1 ox. The 5 boys are the 5 solid lines, while that ox symbolizes the 1 broken line. Next, the living word, illustrious and clear, yet confined to a single move in the end. On the surface, the situation still appears quite favorable, but in reality, it has already entered a period of decline. The nation's fate has fallen into isolation and is unlikely to endure much longer. Tuk Kao In. No matter the reason war breaks out, it is always innocent people and their families who bear the loss and suffering. Kao Ti Tu Diet Kuk. But in truth, the heart already held a sorrow worth weeping for, as people often say. The mouth may wear a bright smile, while inside, a teardrop has already fallen. Don't distinguish between ox, rat, pig, or sheep. Pluck the fur, break the hooves, yet the horns still stand strong. Refers to a dried piece of animal hide, while, although China outwardly displays remarkable and robust development, in reality, the country still harbors profound internal contradictions. Nu Duong. Fact 2. The prose uses laughter to conceal tears, but behind that smile lie hidden droplets. Laughter is for the world to see, while tears are the true, private emotions of one's own heart. The final 2 lines represent the climax, carrying the most profound meaning. From within the zither's heart, a sincere melody emerges. As the song of Kiu resounds, the waters of the Yellow River are no longer desolate. This implies that China will emerge as a heroic savior for the entire nation. When the Yellow River runs clear, a sage will appear. The Huanghe Qing is a remarkable natural phenomenon, where the water in the middle and lower reaches of the Yellow River becomes unusually clear. At that time, a sage will appear. However, this is an extremely rare occurrence, for when the Yellow River flows through the lowest plateau, it carries a massive amount of silt to the middle and lower reaches. Therefore, the river water often has a murky yellow color. This is the origin of the name Yellow River. From the Eastern Han period onward, the middle and lower reaches of the Yellow River rarely, if ever, saw clear waters. According to records, the river water has turned clear approximately 43 times. On average, it happens once every 45 times. But the time when the river water was this clear lasted only a brief moment. Congress of the People. This shows that officials also had strong faith in the prophecies of the ancients. But the new regime also rejoiced in the guiding light of the prophecy. To purify the waters of the Yellow River, proving oneself to be the prophesied sage. After decades of relentless efforts, the sediment concentration in the Yellow River's water has finally seen a significant decrease since the year 2000. During the dry season, over 80% of the Yellow River's surface area has clear, blue water. According to experts, this result stems from two main causes. First, the cause stems from the management of water and land resources on the lowest plateau. Second, irrigation works such as reservoirs on small rivers have contributed to reducing sediment in the middle and lower reaches. By 2018, Chinese media began pioneering reports on the successes in managing the Yellow River. The water of the Yellow River has now become crystal clear. The saint must be about to appear. Historical records note that during the reign of Emperor Haizong of Song, the Yellow River ran clear on 3 separate occasions. They took place in 1107, 1108, and 1109 in the Dongqiao region on the Yellow River. In the first year of the Daguan era, which was the year 1107, an 800-mile stretch of the Yellow River became mysteriously clear. A phenomenon that lasted for 7 days and 7 nights. This is the phenomenon of the Yellow River's water turning an unusual shade of green, considered the most remarkable occurrence ever recorded in its history. Of course, the emperor and all his court officials were utterly delighted. This was truly an auspicious omen, heralding the prosperous destiny of the great Song dynasty. Yellow clarity steel. When a sage appears, the Yellow River will run clear. However, in reality, Emperor Haizong of Song was not merely an incompetent ruler, but is also considered the most tragically inept sovereign in history. He was a king who lost his country among the foolish rulers. This matter has no real connection to the concept of the virtuous person. 18 years after the stele was erected, in 1125, the famous Jingkong incident of Chinese history occurred, leading to the formal collapse of the Northern Song dynasty. Emperor Haizong of Song and his son, Emperor Qinzong, were captured by northern invaders and taken prisoner. If the Yellow River clearing is said to symbolize the emergence of a sage, then that sage is none other than the Golden Emperor Wanyan Sheng. The one who captured Emperor Haizong of Song, upon reflection, still seems slightly more trustworthy. Therefore, the treatment of the Yellow River's water has made it become crystal clear here. That does not necessarily mean the sage must appear during the dynasty of that time. At another time, in another place, perhaps it could have happened. Particularly, when analyzing the main hexagram of this symbol, we find it to be the K-key hexagram. The hexagram image is lake, Dui, above and heaven, Qian, below, symbolizing the grace from superiors that envelops all under heaven. The passage clearly explains the birth of the sage. He was a benevolent gentleman who always prioritized the welfare of the people above all else. At the same time, he was also resolute in eliminating petty individuals. This is precisely the kind of work that an outstanding accomplished individual must undertake. Next, we will jointly interpret the hexagram corresponding to the 54th symbol. The image of statue 54 is 5 shepherd boys together leading a water buffalo. Why does it take as many as 5 people to lead a single buffalo? Based on the meaning of the hexagram, the judgment indicates that upright people join forces and act together. The cattle and horses were led back westward from the west. Because, you see, that buffalo is turning its head toward the west. The shepherds are leading the water buffalo together through a narrow path. Moreover, it is easy to see that all the figures appearing in the painting are young shepherds. They were all simple working-class people, not dressed in elaborate outfits. This photo also makes me think of the smaller surrounding countries that are facing China's expansionist policies. Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, and Taiwan, China. 5 shepherds represent 5 small nations. But thanks to their unity, the 5 boys managed to lead the Chinese buffalo back to its proper pen. According to this hexagram interpretation, China's use of force to annex Taiwan would likely not succeed. Next, we will admire statue number 44 of the Jobodo period. What is it that makes President Xi Jinping so concerned that he feels compelled to make a prophecy? And who does it predict will be China's next son of heaven? First, let's explore the meaning of the prophecy on the 44th statue. K Tuong Vi Te, Song Viet. Under the January moon, all evil spirits retreat into hiding. 100 souls have fallen into slumber, and the wind and rain ceased long ago. The first month is pure and clear, the yin energy wanes, 100 deities gather in court. The deity has 2 wings and 4 legs. It is said, China today is like a sage, though not an eminent scholar, it is still wholeheartedly revered. The 4 Yi moved the capital, honored the Son of Heaven, and were sent by the Grand Extreme back to their former state to assist the sovereign. Today in China, even if a sage were to appear, they would be eliminated unless they were a hero. From the 4 directions, they gather again at the Son of Heaven's domain. When fortune reaches its end, prosperity must return. The 9 realms overflow with the hues of spring. Jin Shengtan was a renowned literary critic who lived during the late Ming and early Qing dynasties. Highly regarded, this statue is also considered a symbol of a saint's rebirth. From all corners, they came to pay homage, expressing profound admiration for his exceptional governance. So how should we understand this new emperor? Let's analyze the first sentence together. The moon reigns supreme in January, all negative energies dissipate. Some scholars well versed in the I Ching suggest that the 44th hexagram image in the Tui Bei Tu is heaven wind go, with its upper structure being Li, fire, and its lower structure being Kan, water. Li is connected to the character Thone, commentary on the Book of Changes. The sun and the moon adorn the sky, making it more brilliant and radiant. The plants cling firmly to the earth, and it is they who adorn our world with beauty and radiance. And Sang is associated with truthfulness, so he clarifies and clearly manifests those truths. If this principle is followed in conducting affairs, the people can be civilized and all under heaven won over. Thus, from this it can be seen that Nyat Wei Lathin, the new son of heaven, will follow the path of righteousness. His majesty will shake the entire realm. Quanam Neep Fuck, Quan Am, Neep Fuck, holding Linglai at dusk, the river Wu satiates itself. Vu Tu Tuk. Among the 12 zodiac animals, the rooster is the only one possessing wings, followed by the dog, a creature with 4 legs. Then, does this Vu Tu Tuk river correspond to the year of the rooster and the year of the dog? And the nearest upcoming rooster year we are about to experience will be 2029 and 2030. Then there are the more distant years like 2041, 2042, or 2053, 2054. All of these timeframes are entirely capable of becoming reality. However, when combined with the 43rd and 54th statues, we can predict that the time of appearance is closest to the year 2024. That will be in 2029 and 2030. There is also an interpretation that Song Vu Tu Tuk is actually Tap Can Ben, swatting flies and hunting tigers. A year later, seemingly inspired by the experience of Emperor Yongle from 600 years ago, President Xi Jinping also decided to restart the Silk Road, Belt and Road, on tap. Nung Noi Quan Tam Da Tim Hu Sao Hun Va Fan Tik Rang. Noi Nin Vao Hai Na Lan Dao Tien Nim Kua Ong Tap Can Bin La Ong Ho Cam Dao Va Ong On Jia Bao.